So, David, thanks for taking the time to talk to me today. We hear a lot about locker room power, but how do you feel that this manifests itself in the athletes that we see today?
Locker room power is very much based on the substance that you have in the athlete. In other words, they have to be, whatever level you're playing at, you've got to be able to cope with that level and be good enough to play at that level. And then it's very much about how the athlete carries themselves in their day-to-day actions, which at Bath we're encouraging a slightly unusual way of going about this. All good coaches understand effective questioning, so coaches will use effective questions with players, but often in our eagerness to help players, we tend to prompt them also with the answers to our effective questions, and we don't always, I think, hear exactly what the athlete has to say. I'm also very aware of the fantastic psychological link that you need to have running right throughout an athlete's program. So, for instance, what we do is we'll have an independent athlete meeting where the coach of the player, their secondary coach, because all of our players have a first and second coach, so if one's away traveling, there's somebody else there who knows exactly what's going on with that player, the physical trainer and the player themselves. And the player has to prepare well for this meeting, and the questions that they have to answer for this meeting is basically how they're going to design their own program. So a player will have to come with the two burning issues at that period in time. What do they need to do in the next month to get better as a player?
Do you feel that this is key, that the athlete takes ownership of this program?
Absolutely, and we hear a lot about, taking ownership and responsibility, but I still feel that it's very easy as a coach to kind of half own it with the player because you're so keen for them to get better. And in a meeting like this, the player basically is presenting their program to you. So they've got to identify the two burning things, because I don't believe that players can work on any more than two things at once. And then in saying what they need to do, they've got to also design the drills that they believe will help them to improve. They also have to take it back to their warm-ups and how they can warm up in a slightly different way that gets them prepared to work on these two things, and also take it even a step back from there in the gym. How does their program in the gym affect how they're going to improve these two things? So for instance, if they're talking about getting more power to the backhand, which means more rotation in the gym, they would be thinking about what they're trying to improve and design the exercises that they believe will help them improve their rotation. So they might be pulling weights across like this and all rotational type drills for that. So you have to have the foundation skills, which we will still continue to work on. But this way, everything that the player does is geared to improving their two specific things in this period of time. And you now get a psychological link from the gym all the way through to the court.
Do you find there's a clearly recognisable point at which the athlete is kind of taken over this process and pulled it away from you, or does that continue, that there's a sort of a mutual...
What we're trying to do at Team Bath is speed up this process. There's definitely a point where you get players at a high level that are taking more and more ownership of what they do. And as a coach also, though, you have to be there to guide them, because they've not been where they want to go, and you've had that experience. So you question what they give you and make them think about what they're saying, and therefore they will adjust their programs if you question them and challenge them on the process that they're telling you they want to go through. I hope that makes sense.
That's brilliant. All right, thank you very much.
Okay.